Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda. Jai Shri Krishna. Hare. So welcome all of you to our weekly Gita session, and please join me. So today we have a very wonderful devotee, the wonderful speaker is Harishyam. So Prabhuji was serving here, he was assisting all of us, but since few months he has shifted to our Narsinga Giridhari temple, which is in HBR layout. So on our request, he has very kindly agreed to it, and today we will have wonderful opportunity to hear from Prabhuji. So let's welcome Prabhuji to our center by loudly chanting Krishna Hare Krishna Hare
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Darshan Prabhu, for inviting me, for remembering me and engaging me in some service to the Lordships. Yeah, it's been nearly one year since we shifted, not few months. Nearly a year. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. We'll start with the invocation prayers. Om Akhyatimrandasya Yanam Janashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamriyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatkarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. I was informed that you all like hearing Bhagavad Gita. You have completed. The first chapter is done. Second chapter till second section is done. The third section which starts from 2.52. It's pending till 2.54. I think 2.52 to 2.72. So I'll just start with a brief recap of how Bhagavad Gita started. Right? Anybody knows what is the first verse of Bhagavad Gita? How did we start? How did it start? Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsavaha Mamaka Pandava Chaiva Kimapurvata Sanjaya. Very interesting words, right? So here Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya, what happened after my sons, Pandu's sons have assembled on the battlefield? What did they do? Suppose we go to a movie theater and we meet a friend there. Are you going to ask a friend, hey, what are you doing here? No, right? Yeah, movie theater, you're there to watch a movie. When you're on a battlefield, what we are supposed to do? Supposed to battle. So, what is the motivation behind Dhritarashtra asking this question? Sanjaya, no, they are assembled there for hiding influence. So, actually, the reason is actually Dhritarashtra is very upright. He calls like Kurukshetra as Dharmakshetra. The Kurukshetra is not an ordinary place. It's actually a very holy place. Of course, Krishna is there. So any place Krishna is there, that place is a holy place. Even if it is not holy, when Krishna touches his lotus feet, that place becomes holy. Or a place where the pure devotee of Krishna stays, that place is a holy place because that is a place where Krishna's Kirtan, Katha, everything happens and the devotee carries Krishna within the heart. So that place is also a holy place. But historically also, Kurukshetra is a very holy place, even before that. So after assembling the history, he was very doubtful because this place is very holy. What impact it will have, or what kind of result he will get in that war? Because he is sure, okay, he is on the Adharmic side. He has taken the side of his son, more partial towards him, and we know Duryodhana is actually like quarrel personified. Right? Duryodhana is on the Adharmic side. He knows this is not favorable. The place itself where we are going to fight is not a favorable place. So he wants to know what is going to happen. Right? And how did it happen? Like what did he establish? What happened to my sons? Mamaka Pandava, my sons and Pandu's sons. So Bhagavad Gita starts with this. 99.9% of the living entities in the material world, other than the acharyas who come to deliver this message, everybody has this mentality of aham mameti. Everything is mine. So Dhritarashtra, it's not only specific for Dhritarashtra. We are also the same state to different degree. Aham mameti. Everything is mine. This is my thing to enjoy. So you also want this I could be very small I to very big I. This I could be me, my body, my senses, or this I could be me and my family, or this I could be me, family, and extended family of relatives, or it could be, it includes maybe our village, or the caste, or the language, or the place of birth, right? We identify ourselves with so many I's. Or even the country, nation, religion, so many, this I could expand. So this is how it started. Everything belongs to me. Aham mameti. So, and this is where and this is a common problem for all of us. That's where Bhagavad Gita starts with a very common problem for 99.9% of us. That we think this is for me. This material world is for my enjoyment. And this I, there's not problem with the identity I. It's about how we identify ourselves with. We identify ourselves with our body, we can identify ourselves with our family, we can identify ourselves with a country or religion or a caste or a place of birth, everything. So this is how it starts. Okay, it's everything for me. But even though say Dhritarashtra is not only blind, physically blind, is dharmically blind, is also spiritually blind. No amount of advice was sufficient for him to understand this. So still he was doubtful, so he asked this. On the other hand, if you see Arjuna, after seeing all his relatives and family assembled there, he has his own reason why he should not fight this war. He says, okay, there are elders on the other side, like Bhishma, Dronacharya, they are my guru and great grandfather. They are lovingly brought me up. Even though they are elder people in Vedic custom, they are not supposed to even offer a verbal fight with the elders. What to speak of, even physically assaulting them with weapons. How it is possible? And then Arjuna says, like, okay, typically when we fight, okay, it's Mahabharata war. Like the whole world was involved. Mahabharata does not mean only India, subcontinent. The whole world was engaged in a war. We know it World War I, World War II. But there was a much later war would happen much earlier, like Mahabharata war. The whole world was participating in it, and all the family members of Arjuna were there, and he felt, okay, when we fight and we will all die, many great warriors will die, then who are going to protect the children? Who is going to protect the women, elderly people, sick people, who are going to protect them? At least earlier time, Dwapara Yuga, at least the war was fought between only those who actually are warriors. Now see the war in Ukraine and Gaza. The warriors are all gone underground. Okay. Civilians are the ones who are getting bombarded with so much things, right? This is the war in Kali Yuga. War in Dwapara Yuga at least was a little better. Yeah, at least women and children were not massacred like what is happening today. But this is just, and in fact, Madhvacharya in his Mahabharata Tattva says, he identifies Duryodhana as Kali personified, the age of Kali personified. Because the Kali Yuga, the tendency is quarrel and hypocrisy. This is the nature of Kali Yuga. There is always some quarrel. and it can lead to big wars. He is Kali personified. And in Manthara and Ramayana, she is the wife of this Kali. So she is the one who started that problem in Ramayana. And Duryodhana is the one who started the problem in Mahabharata. So they are all Kali personified. Always trying to find some quarrel and making others' mind fight. So what happens here? So this is how the war started, and like Arjuna had his own reasons why he should not fight the war out of compassion. He's saying he also is identifying everyone from the point of view of they are my family, and then on dharmic sense, all those things. So that's where like first chapter ended, where Arjuna presenting the reasons why he doesn't want to fight. He gives a list of reasons, and then starting with the second chapter, Krishna starts. See, born in a very like Vedic background, like especially in India, of course, Arjuna comes from a very respectable family on the father and the mother side. Kunti and as well as Pandu, they come from a very prestigious or very highly advanced lineage of kings. Krishna starts with Kutaswa Kasmala. How come you are talking rubbish? Kasmala means rubbish. You are not talking like a person who has studied Vedas, who has studied or speaking as if you are from a very educated and cultured family. You are identifying yourself with this body. Then Krishna starts with the part of Sankhya Yoga. This is the first section of Bhagavad Gita you would have studied. The first 20 to 30 verses it talks about Sankhya Yoga. Or Sankhya Yoga means analytical study of difference between the body and the soul. And Sankhya means something which describes things in very much detail. So Krishna gives the analytical study, differences between body and the soul. And he gives a lot of examples for it. What is the first example he gives? Devno asmin yata deha bhaumaram evanam jara tata dehantara praptir divas tatrana mayati. This body, right? It's a true story. What I am going to tell is a true story. Okay? Once upon a time, all of us here had a child's body. Nobody can deny it. Then after that, we had a body of a young girl or a boy. Small girl or a boy. Then we had a very youthful body. Somehow still have it. Few people have the youthful body. Most of us here now have reached the adult body. Okay. And then very soon we are going to take one more body, old age body. Okay, we cannot avoid it. Right? So where is that body gone? Where is the youthful body? Where is the child's body, the infant's body, and this one? Where it is gone? But the identity of who I am still remains, right? So though we might have lost that body, still identity of me is still remaining there. Even the body is lost, the identity is still there. Similarly, Krishna says, at the end of his life, we accept a new body. Just like this, when this shirt gets soiled or dirty, I have to wash it and I can change. That's what Krishna says, Vasamti Jirnani Yatarigaya Navani Grihati Narobhani. As we give up the old body, we can accept the new ones in any species of life. Any species of life. It could be animal or plant or even human being or devatas. So a dhira, a sober person, is not bewildered by such a change. So he is now giving example of what is this body, and the example says, okay, we understand, okay, we have lost some body. So at the end of his life also, we will lose this body and we'll accept a new body. Just like when the body, if this shirt gets torn, I will take a new shirt. It's not that it stopped existing. It's not that tomorrow I come in a pink t-shirt, pink tissue. If you see my poster, I was in a pink shirt. Okay, now I am in a green. So does it mean I am a different person? Oh, this person is not the one. So, but strongly what we are doing is we are identifying with this body, right? So that's why first section Krishna talks about what is body and what is soul, what is the differences, okay, what is the nature of the soul, okay, one is eternal, soul is eternal, and body is temporary. All these differences Krishna gives, right? Okay, there is no weapon, nainam chintanti, shastrani, like there is no weapon to cut the soul. Okay, it cannot be like drowned in the water, or it cannot be burned by fire, or it cannot be withered by wind. All these qualities of the souls Krishna clearly explains. But how do we understand that we are a soul? What is the symptom that we are a soul? What is the symptom we are a soul? Consciousness. Yes. The presence of consciousness indicates that we are a spirit soul. Otherwise, what is the difference between dead body and living body? Sometimes we know when people die, we say he has passed away. What has passed away? The body is still lying there. What has passed away? It is the consciousness which has passed away. Just like in the morning, early in the morning, right? Like when the sun is out or just coming out, we may not see the sun. Okay? It may be covered, cloud may be covering the sun, but little light we see, we know the sun has risen. Similarly, when there is a consciousness, we may not be able to see the soul because soul is a spiritual atom. What is the size of the spiritual atom? Krishna says we take the tip of the hair, divided by 1 by 10,000, then there is a tip of the hair. You may say, but we have powerful microscopes which can even see at nanometer level. Then why you cannot see the soul? Because Krishna didn't, based on his calculation, the soul is not at nanometer or maybe at the nanometer. But still there are powerful microscopes to see it. But soul is a spiritual atom. The microscope is a material atom, material element. Using matter, you cannot see spirits. Because it's the spirit which activates the matter, not the other way around. Matter doesn't activate spirit. It's the spirit which activates matter. So how do we understand the soul? When we have the same level of when we are higher up in the consciousness, then we'll be able to understand the soul. Just like we are here assembled here. In this assembly also, there are some mosquitoes and ants. Does it know that I am still residing in Akshar Yoga? And at 11:30 every Sunday, there is a Bhagavad Gita class happening. It is also inhabiting the same habitat as us. But its level of consciousness does not allow it to understand, okay, what is happening here. It does not know this is Akshar Yoga, that is the yoga studio, and that is the house, that's the living room, kitchen, all these things. A mosquito or like an ant doesn't know because it doesn't have the consciousness to know, high level of consciousness. Sometimes we think, no, we are so advanced that we go in rocket to moon planet. And all we see in moon planet is just a barren land desert, with mountains, with no water, no greenery, easy of the nothing. But when you read scriptures, it is this kind moon planet is inhabited by higher devatas. Moon god is called Soma, sun god is called Vivaswan. It's a very, very opulent place. So many nice, beautiful girls are there. Hey, I don't see anything there. We have said India sent Chandrayaan, America has sent Apollo, Russia is sending, Japan is sending, everybody is sending, but everybody are finding nothing there. Only they find, even the pictures we are getting is just kind of rocks and stones. What does it mean? Nothing is there. So we are like that, with the ant and the mosquito. Just because we don't see, just because we are so advanced that we can send a rocket and go there, does it mean we can see things? I said no. Because the mosquito has autopilot mode. It can fly like a rocket. Does it mean it's more advanced than us? It's not. So when we read something from the scriptures, even though our senses are not advanced enough to understand the higher level of reality. Reality is there. The moon it's in a different dimension. And the dimension can be understood only when the consciousness is not due to mechanical advancement or like electronics or electrical advancement or technological advancement. We can go and understand higher things. This requires high level of consciousness, at more level of subtleness. That's why like you find all these people, scientists, all those people, they say, okay, all these things are mythological stories. They say Ramayana is mythology, like Mahabharata is mythology. Mythology means like it is not true. These are just moral stories, just to lead a very good, pious life. Not like that. So to understand the soul, one needs to have higher level of consciousness. So the first section is Krishna talks about the properties of the soul, qualities of the soul, and kind of consciousness required to understand the soul. So we go to the second part. Okay, theoretically we know, okay, there is soul, we are soul, all those things. But practically, how do we understand it? Because for us, right now, our identification is with body. It's very easy to see, ultimate hand and finger legs, it's easy to see, I am the body. In 2 hours, I may sit here and say, I am soul and spirit and all those things. In 2 hours, my stomach will say, hey, it's your body. Or maybe in 1 hour, it will say. So all these things are there to remind us we are body. So what is that to remind us we are soul? How to identify? Because the soul is now covered with 2 kinds of body. One is this gross body, which we can see. The other one is the subtle body, which we cannot see, but it exists, we know. There is mind, we know, there is mind. And we know there is intelligence. There is this false identity of who I am. Okay? So these 3 are considered the subtle elements. So the body is there, there is subtle element within it, which are these 3, mind, intelligence, false ego. And then the soul is entrapped within this 2 gross body and the subtle body. So now, to understand the soul, is required that we purify this gross body and the subtle body. So that is where the second section comes. How we can purify this subtle body and gross body and go to the platform of soul. So right now, all our work, whatever work action we are doing, right, it is based on what? For our own enjoyment, right? Like, unless we are doing something, okay, we are expecting to enjoy the fruits of that work. So Krishna is saying in the second section of how to go from bodily platform, from subtle platform to the soul platform is through the process of Nishkama Karma Yoga. Karma means action, reaction. And there is action, there is reaction. Newton's law. There is action, reaction. Kama means desire to enjoy the fruits of our action. Nishkama means one has to give up the propensity to enjoy the fruits of our action. This is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. Yoga means the process where we do things in relationship to the Supreme. So this is Nishkama Karma. So Krishna talks about Nishkama. Oh, one must act, one must do action. He cannot stop action. This body, okay, because the soul is present in the body, this body becomes active. Otherwise, this body is inert. It cannot act on its own. This table does not act on its own. Because it has no consciousness, it does not soul. So action is the nature of the soul. It is part and parcel of the soul. It is the quality of the soul. So we cannot avoid action. It is impossible to avoid action. Okay. So one must act, but when we act, Krishna talks about how we can act without desiring to enjoy the fruits of the action. But if you think about it, right, then what is the purpose of our action? If somebody says, oh, you go to work, don't expect salary. Will you even try to go to office? You have right to work, not right to expect salary. Will we ever go to work? Who will work? But Krishna is saying something like that, right? So, right to work, don't expect to enjoy the fruits of the work. So what is the motivation to work? It means, it's really like, okay, saying to enjoy means like we should not desire at all, right? Is it possible to even not desire at all? How it is possible? Practically, how it is possible? Krishna gives work without any expecting to enjoy. It's not, Krishna is not saying that work without any desire. When he talks about Nishkama, don't work for the satisfaction of your senses. Rather than Nishkama Karma Yoga, work for the flesh, for the satisfaction of your soul. It's not saying, okay, don't desire anything. desire for higher level of consciousness, desire to get your heart purified and be situated, because all this sense gratification, happiness which we get, these are all very temporary. This is not permanent. Okay. So he is giving us, he is asking us to have a desire, to have a much higher desire. Don't go with the base desires of just satisfying the bodily needs and the mental needs. Rather go further, introspect and go further deeper and find what is the necessity of the soul. When you work at that level, what happens? Then all the other necessities gets fulfilled automatically. So he's not asking us to not to work or stop work. So Arjuna wanted to very skillfully avoid what means the action means there is reaction. So don't act at all, there is no reaction. No, let me not fight. Because I fight, I have to kill. So don't fight, no killing. Then I won't get sins. Then my uncles and all these people will not die. He wants to skillfully avoid acting. Now Krishna says, oh no. Just like a government employee, he goes to the office and doesn't work. Is it okay? Not working is also not good, right? Like, you'll be fired from the job. That is also not correct, right? Okay. Working only if I make mistakes, okay, let me not work at all, I'll sleep. No, it's not like proper. Okay, no, we have to work. But we need to know the art of working. Right? Without that, it's not correct. So Krishna is then inviting us. What did he say? Karmanne vadikadasya mahapadesha kathachana. He says, you have right to work, but you don't have right to enjoy the fruits of the work. Why? Because as a living entity, okay, we can work, but the results is not dependent on or directly proportional to how much work we do. The results is given by Krishna. That is in his domain. He may work like a donkey. Does not mean the donkey will become a billionaire. Since because you're working so hard, become the richest person in the world, or whatever motivational. Because that result is not in our domain. The result is in Krishna's domain. Right? Otherwise, it's not possible. That's why Krishna says, okay, as a living entity, you're dependent, you're not independent. You're independent in the sense you can work. But fruits is not in your court. Fruits is I have to give. In fact, that is what it declares in 5th chapter, 29th verse. Actually, I am the enjoyer of all the fruits. You are not the enjoyer. Just like a cashier in the bank, you go and deposit money. Does it mean the cashier takes home all the money? If he starts taking home all the money which we deposit, what will happen? He'll be arrested. Same thing. You have right to collect cash, but not carry it home. You have to deposit in government treasury. For that, you may get some salary. So, you have right to work, not enjoy the fruits. All the money goes to the CEO of the bank or the government. You don't get it. Same thing. Okay. Result is not in your hands. So Krishna says, and who is the enjoyer? Who is the CEO of the company? He is the enjoyer. And based on his mercy, compassion, we get whatever we get. But Krishna is not like our corporate CEOs. There is no layoffs in his corporation. It's like a family. He's very kind. Okay? Even if somebody doesn't even believe him, still he rewards him. Just giving a simple example like this to understand. Okay? Why he can work, but we should not expect results of the work. So that's where we will start. End of second chapter, he talks about Nishkama. End of second section of the second chapter, he talks about Nishkama Karma Yoga. How one does not get reaction even though one acts. Now we'll go to the third section. What Krishna defines yoga as what? Abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Yoga means don't depend on the fruits. Don't try to enjoy. I'm successful. I'm not successful. But do your work equal, like equipoise. Whether you get success or failure, it's not in your hands. Work. Such equanimity is called yoga. And it's very difficult, you know. Such a species exists in this world. Very nice to hear. You need to know such a species of people exist who work without expecting result. Now Arjuna is asking, where can you find such species? Right? Where can you find such personalities? So he asked 4 questions. So such kind of people is called Sita Pragya. Sita Pragya means they are equipoised, they are situated. When miseries or happiness come, they don't rejoice or like they feel very morose. They are Dhira. They are equal. If it comes or not come, it's okay. Does it mean like we should become like a stool? Whatever it comes, somebody sits on it, stands on it. Or like we keep Prabhupada's photo there. So that way, like the stool also gets obeisances. We pay obeisances to Prabhupada, the stool also gets obeisances. Table also gets obeisances. Does it mean enjoy? So we should become like this table. Yes, the table has no consciousness. It doesn't know what it is. Should we become like inert entity? Is that what it is? So now Arjuna is asking. Siddha Pragya. What Vasha? How can we describe such Siddha Pragya? What language you have to describe? Not Hindi, Tamil, Telugu. Not like that. Then he asked, how this Siddha Pragya, they speak? We know, no, a rich man, he speaks, we know from his behavioral tendency, a rich man, a sportsman, or a movie star, just from their dress and makeup and everything, we know who they are, right? How he speaks, when there's disturbing circumstances, when agitating circumstances happens in life, how do they speak? How do they act? That's one of his questions. Second question, third question he asks is, how he controls his senses when this disturbing situation comes. How he doesn't become agitated at all. How is he controlling the senses? Somebody praises me, I'll become happy. Like if somebody chastises me, I become sad. Right? But how he reacts, like Siddha Pragya is going to, when somebody does something, respecting, disrespecting, honoring, dishonoring, how he is going to react to it? How he is going to remain control his senses? And how we are living in this material world, and senses are always in touch with sense objects. We are always hearing some nice sound, nice music, or bad music, whatever it is. Okay, we are seeing good things, bad things, everything. The senses are always in touch with the sense object. We are not asking you close your eyes, close your ears, close your mouth, all those things. It's not practical. Even a person goes to Himalayan cave, still he is in contact with the sense and sense objects. How does he use his senses when the senses are in touch with the sense object? Because we are living in this material world. So these are the questions Arjuna asked. And now Krishna answers this question. Starting from 2.54, Arjuna asks these 4 questions. In what language they have been described? And these are the 3 other questions. Now Krishna answers it. The 2.55. So, given up desire for sense enjoyment arising from the mind, how he is able to remain still, right? He's saying, okay, he has given up the desire for sense enjoyment arising from the mind. Here. So, as we discussed, okay, does he become like a piece of stone? Because it is the mind which is like a storehouse of all our desires. So whatever information which we receive through different senses, there are 5 sense organs, intelligence acquiring sense organs: eyes, ears, tongue, touch, skin, right? These are the sense organs through which we gather intelligence. If something is soft, unless we touch it, feel it, how do we know what is soft? Right? The sense organs are the ones which gives us the intelligence, knowledge. So now, how and by getting all this knowledge, it is storing and forming a picture. in the mind. And from that mind, all the desires are coming. So what Krishna is saying is, he has given up all the desires for sense enjoyment that arises from the mind, mental life. He's not saying, okay, he has given up the desires completely. Rather, Nishkama here, in Krishna, Nishkama means desires that arise out of mind, arise in our mind. Then the mind impels the senses to act. Because mind is the center of all senses. He has given up the senses. This is the bhasha in which the Siddha Pragya is. This is how the Siddha Pragya is. So does he become like a stone or a piece of wood? Let's see what Krishna talks about it. So in 56 and 57, Krishna talks about one who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold mysteries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called the stage of steady mind. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he attains, neither praising it or despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. This is how he speaks. If somebody comes and praises him, he does not become very happy, for my friends. And somebody comes and chastises him. Please, you're not my friend. He has no enemy friend mentality. Okay, he doesn't have this. This is how he speaks. When honor comes, dishonor comes, not only externally, when internally he has this mood. Like Siddha Pragya is one, you see, it's not like he has become wood. He understands, okay, somebody is praising me in this, he understands, okay, somebody is praising me. But he does not become overjoyed or like he becomes morose, somebody touches. What is the most beautiful sound for everyone? Anyone here? What is the most pleasing sound you have heard in your life? None of you have heard any pleasing sound? Huh? Birds singing, okay, nice. Huh? Krishna's flute. But have you heard Krishna's flute? Whatever you heard from your experience, you heard. Yes, of course, Krishna's flute is very melodious. That's what described. But from our experience, personal experience, what is the most beautiful sound? Psychologically, somebody praises me, that's the most beautiful sound we have heard in life. Somebody praises us, no? But we sing here on. Yeah, that is all nice. But somebody says you are singing like Jatik Singh. That is the most pleasing thing to hear. Not Jatik Singh is very good singer. Nice, we can enjoy Ilayaraja music, R.D. Burman, S.T. Burman, all those things are nice. But somebody says, oh, you are singing like Lata Mangeshkar or Hariharan or something like that. That's the most pleasing. Somebody praises is the most pleasing sound to hear. What is the most displeasing sound to hear? Huh? Mother's shout, yes. Mother's chastisement. Others' praise. Prabhu knows. In front of me, some you tell. Last week that Prabhu, this class is very nice. What does it mean? This class is not nice. You could have remained neutral, saying nothing about this class. I will not complain or anything. But you say last week that Prabhu spoke very nicely. Was the most displeasing sound to hear, right? So the most horrible sound to hear is others' praise in front of us. Even somebody chastises us, okay, at least this person is talking about me. At least he's thinking about me. I am the center of attraction there. But the worst sound to hear is others' praise. So Siddha Pragya is not kind of person who is going to get affected by such kind of things. Even like, that's what he remains very neutral, whether his praise or even others' praise. He remains neutral. He doesn't see anybody as a friend or anything. Then what does it mean? Okay, once again we are coming back to other becomes like it cannot matter. Siddha Pragya does not laugh at all. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't have any other thing, or they want to give him like just like that, like a stone sitting there. No, we have seen in. Is that so? We see Narada Muni in Bhagavatam. We can path like it's been described. Narada Muni actually cursed. There are two sons of Kuvera. Their names are Nala Kuvera Manigriva. Okay, does it mean like Narada Muni getting angry, cursing someone? Cursing means out of anger only curse, right? So Narada Muni is not a Sita Pragya. He has lost control over his senses. He started cursing with Nala Kuvera Manigriva, or his ego got hurt. Actually, what is that? I'll give you a background of why Narada Muni cursed Nala Kuvera Manigriva. Some people know. As he was passing through, okay, heavenly planets, these two sons of Kuvera, Nala Kuvera Manigriva, they were actually sporting in water with nice young girls. So Narada Muni was passing. Narada Muni was passing, like the girls wanted to get up and offer obeisances instead of playing because the sadhu is passing. We are supposed to pay obeisances and the sadhu is amidst us, right? But this Nala Kuvera Manigriva, they ignored Narada Muni. So in a way they committed offense. So Narada Muni saw and cursed them. Okay. Does it mean Narada Muni got offended because he got disrespected? Because of that he cursed? No. Narada Muni cursed Nala Kuvera Manigriva not out of anger, whatever anger which we see, which arises out of mode of ignorance. Typically, anger is considered to be mode of ignorance. We will see that later verses. But out of compassion to these two sons of Kuvera. Because becoming a son of Kuvera is not ordinary. Kuvera is one of the top demigods within this material world. Okay, he is one of the Lokapalakas for one of the directions of 8 top administrators. For example, we know that the Prime Minister, there is Home Minister, there are certain portfolio which is very prestigious. Home Minister, Finance Minister, Defense Minister, Human Resource Development, all these things are the prestigious ministry, Education Minister. Okay? Similarly, out of many posts, one of the posts, very prestigious post is becoming treasurer, like Finance Minister. Okay? So he's kind of that post. And to become sons of Kuvera requires one should have done a lot of pious activities. And to be son of such a great personality, to live in a heavenly kingdom. Yet, these sons of this, or like, in spite of having those pious credits, instead of advancing further, okay, these two sons actually they are behaving in a very base way, and they were becoming addicted to sense gratification. It's not out of like they disrespected Narada Muni got angry and cursed them. Rather, out of compassion for these souls, okay, they need to be taught a lesson. Just like some mothers chastise the children for the children's benefit. Not every time mothers and parents are always like nice with the children. Sometimes they also chastise. Right? So Narada Muni chastise. And that punishment also is kind of benediction. What did they do? Because they were not even aware of that they were naked and they were enjoying the waters, like lake. In a sadhu passes, you have to at least cover yourself. You were naked. So if you want to remain naked, okay, for that you don't have to be a human being or devata. If you want to be naked, become an animal, no dress is required. Or become a tree, no dress is required. So he gave that reaction, saying he became a tree. But the benediction is they became a tree in Vrindavan. That too in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, where Krishna grew up. Then when Krishna grew up, during the Damodar Leela, he got the tree down, he put the mortar between those two, the tree came down. So they got darshan of Krishna, so they got liberated. And they achieved love of Godhead because of Narada. Even though that was a punishment, it can be treated as punishment, but it was out of compassion. Narada Muni cursed. So when devotees sometimes chastise this pure devotee, it's not out of their fault, their ego is hurt. Rather out of compassion to help us progress further. So Sita Pragya is not just external look. Siddha Pragya, okay, it remains like a stone. No, no, they also laugh. They also eat nice things. Okay. It's not like but they're not addicted to it and they don't do it for their sense pleasure. And for the next question, he asks, so actually when Arjuna asked the question, he asked in a different way, what bhashas they speak, how they sit, how they walk. So just to do that, okay, Siddha Pragya sits like with his folded legs, no, not like that. When he says how he sits means, when the senses come in contact with when there is agitating situation or disturbing situation around us, how they remain calm, how they remain composed. To sit 1 hour requires some calmness. Without being calm, we cannot sit just like that. Right? So how does he sit mean? How he remains calm in spite of all the upheavals that goes around. That is what it means. How does he sit? How does he walk? It's not like he's going to walk or fly or something. Not like the physical motion. Rather, how does he walk means how does he engage his senses? Because senses are always engaged by touching the sense objects in contact sense objects. How does he accept things without deciding to enjoy sense pleasure? How does he interact with things without deciding to enjoy? Walking means action. So senses engaging in the contact with sense objects means action. The walking means he says how he is going to act. So one may ask, okay, so Siddha Pragya, how is Siddha Pragya talked about it? How is it different from a materialistic person? Also, we say they are good sense control, right? We have seen some people, right? Like people who go to like even the movie stars or sports person like Virat Kohli. He maintains his body so very nicely, right? Like he's restricted in his eating, he's restricted in his recreation. To be a top level sports star to score after playing 15, 20 years, should have that discipline, right? You should have sense control, all these things. You cannot go on eating anywhere and still expect, okay, I maintain the body. So we find people, even materialistic people who are not have sense control. Like even people who work in army, military, all those people, the marines, all those people, they are very much controlled with their senses. So what is the difference between we talk about sense control. So what is the difference between a Siddha Pragya and these materialistic people who can control their senses? The difference is, Krishna says, materialistic persons externally they control, internally they crave for it. Externally there is control, they maintain it. But internally the desire to enjoy is still burning. So that is the difference. For Siddha Pragya, external, internal, both same. There's no difference. Why it is possible for the Siddha Pragya to give up internally also he can be calm? It is because he is enjoying the direct bliss of communion with the Lord. He is seeing the Lord within his heart. Because when we follow the instructions of the Lord, we are actually following the Lord. So the Lord also reciprocates with us. When Krishna is asking us to follow something and we follow, it means we are following Krishna. It means Krishna reciprocates with us, with his sweetness, with his majesticity, opulence. And then when we see the reciprocation, then we say, all these other small material things, this is nothing compared to the bliss of following the instructions of the Lord. Within the heart, Krishna is purifying the heart. Shrinotam Sakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Hidetasta Badrani Vidinoti Sulsutam. One who constantly hears Shrinotam Sakata Krishna, he hears Krishna Katha, what happens? Punya Shavana Kirtana, when he does Kirtana, Hidetasta Badrani, whatever impurity is in the heart, Abhadra, Subhadra is auspicious, Abhadra is inauspicious. It gets Krishna himself personally, person as Paramatma, and he cleans out the heart. And just like a swan, once we become a swan, the swan does not live in a gutter. The pigs live in a gutter. For a pig, gutter is heaven. It does nothing with it. It's like eating them. But a swan doesn't enjoy it. Swan needs clear water. Beautiful lotus flower. Place in the lotus. Stem of the lotus. So Sita Pragya is such kind, he's having that kind of happiness inside. So he doesn't bother about the external happiness. So how Sita Pragya is able to do it? Because he has got the higher taste. So it's not, he's able to give up the sense gratification because he has tasted something much higher. So similarly in devotional service, okay, what happens? We have our own strengths and we have our weakness because we are still practicing. We're not at the level of Sita Pragya yet. But what Krishna is asking us is, okay, don't dwell too much on the weakness aspect. We accept what is we recognize what is the weakness. Rather, address the weakness using our strength. And for understanding our strength, we need to do a lot of introspection. What is our strength in devotional service? And then, okay, it's not that easy. You cannot go on finding people who sit up again. It's not that easy to find that. And Krishna talks about how rare it is to find a sit up again. These are the things, okay? Because senses are very powerful. Though we say sense control, but the senses are very powerful. They can even influence the mind, even though the mind is the center of all senses, yet the senses are taking so many inputs. It can overwhelm the mind. It can make the mind, it can overwhelm Ramati. It can make the mind, it can control the mind. So, even a person who is trying to conquer the senses, one who has been discriminating knowledge, it is difficult. For example, Vishwamitra was a king. Okay, he was a king means he was having a lot of opportunity to enjoy. But he felt, okay, being a Brahmana, being engaged in tapasya is more satisfying. He saw the big Vasishtha. He see that Vasishtha is more powerful and is more happy than him. Even he is living a simple life, he is more satisfied and powerful than him. So he wanted to become like Vasishtha. So he started doing tapasya. Very, very, very hard tapasya. It's not ordinary tapasya. Read in Ramayana, Balakanda, you find what kind of tapasya Vishwamitra Rishi did. But yet, when Vishwamitra was doing this tapasya, what happens? No, Indra became a little agitated. Maybe Vishwamitra wants to become, because you do tapasya, you can get a position of a higher demigod. So, Indra became a little uncomfortable. Will Vishwamitra take over my position? Okay, let me send someone to get him out of his tapasya. So he sent Menaka. A person for so many years, given up sense enjoyment, doing tapasya, he was closing his eyes and meditating. He was not even opened his eyes. And Menaka comes there and she has these anklets. And that was making some noise, tinkling noise. And immediately that sound which enters. Because ears are always on. So in the sense hearing, when they contact the sense object of sound, do a nice sound of a girl wearing anklet, he opened his eyes and became Menaka. And she was very beautiful. So he gave her tapasya and he started living with her. And he had a child with her who is Shakuntala, right? You know the story of Shakuntala. Even a person of such a caliber like Vishwamitra could become agitated just by hearing the tinkling sound. What to speak people like us? But in Kali Yuga, how it is possible for us to become Sita Pragya? There is also the Shaubaramuni. So if you say, okay, Vishwamitra is on the land, so under a tree, so somebody came and disturbed him. Okay, let me go underwater. Who is going to come there to disturb? No? Shaubaramuni is actually doing tapasya underwater. So he's such a big yogi, he could go and control his breath. Perhaps to go underwater, not with all this oxygen mask and everything, he didn't go underwater. Okay? Not with all the snorkels and all this. Okay? He was able to control his breath and he was doing tapasya underwater. And suddenly one day, out of tapasya, he came out and opened his eyes, and underwater he saw two fish having family conversation. Two fish having family meeting. He saw that he got attracted. Maybe I should also have a family. He came out of the water, he got married, he had children, and he became a grihastha like that. I'm not saying grihastha life is wrong, but I'm saying senses are so strong, even if you go underwater, as Krishna told me, Ramati. Senses are so strong, and even for a person with a discriminating knowledge like Vishwamitra Muni and Saubharamani, they were able to fall down. What to speak of living entities who are in Kali Yuga, where every billboard out there is inviting us to enjoy sense gratification. Then how can one be a Siddha Prajna? Bhagavad Gita is a timeless scripture. It has to apply for people in Kali Yuga as well. Otherwise, then it's applicable only for people in Satya Yuga. Then why am we sitting there? It's called Aparushaya. This knowledge has no mistake. Take an example. During time of independence, when our constitution was written, how many times our constitution got amended because of parliament passing law? Whatever we do, it requires a lot of amendments, corrections, because there is always some loophole. Whatever we bring, and the person who is bringing the law also creates in such a way there is loophole. Can be exploited because that is the nature. Politicians are the ones who create the laws. They know how to break the laws. Right? So there is what? I have to follow the law. Now, but the knowledge Bhagavad Gita gives, it's a timeless classic and timeless knowledge. Okay, it's not going to change. Okay, there's no requirement of amendment. Krishna doesn't have to come to Kali Yuga to have a fresh amendment or I'm amending Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Gita part 2. No, not required. So it has to be applicable for us as well. We need to become Siddha Prajna. Right? What is it? This is how. This is the important verse. Dhani sarvani samnanya yukta asita marpara asehi yasya indriyani tasya prana Krishna. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as man of steady intelligence. How the senses can be controlled? It can be controlled only when we fix our consciousness on Krishna. Without that, talking about sense control doesn't happen. So what is the process? This is described by Maharaj Ambarish in Bhagavad, 9th canto, 4th chapter, 18th verse. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo vasamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane karorare mandir marjunarchu sutim chakra chatasat kathodaya. Then there are 3 more verses. What he is saying? Always engage your mind in remembering Krishna. Mind means it will always think. You cannot say, go mind, don't think. Thinking is what activity which mind does. You cannot say, your mind, don't think. Even that is also thinking. Thinking I should not think is also thinking. Thinking I should not desire is also a desire. So it's not possible. That is the nature of the mind to always be thinking about something. Krishna says, I think about me. Then, Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. In his lotus feet. Vasamsi vaikunta punarmanani. Okay. Use your words, tongue, to describe the glories of spiritual world, Vaikunta. Talk about Vaikunta Loka. Don't talk about this material world, what is happening in this material world. All things happening in material world is only somebody killed someone, all these things. The newspaper is full of all these things. The repeated news, that's it. Every month the same rules repeats. In different form, different flavor, that's it. In Vasamsi Vaikunta, describe the glories of spiritual attributes or spiritual work. Karaurare mandira marjana dusu. Use your hands to clean the temple of the Lord. Hands needs engagement. Engage your hands in serving the Lord or cleaning the temple of the Lord. Or like devotees here who come at 11:30, they arrange in a nice place so that others can come and sit. Since Karorare Mandir Majana Vishu, they arrange this setup. Using your hands and legs, you have to walk. Right? So this is what he said. Shrutim Chakra Chuda Chat Kathodaya. Use your ears to hear about Krishna. Use your nose to smell the flowers offered to the Lord. And use the tongue to taste prasadam, that is bhoga, which is offered to the Lord, tulsi, which is offered to the Lord. Use the body to serve other devotees. Use your body to pay obeisances. So, like that, Ambarish Maharaj is saying how each and every senses must be utilized in the service of the Lord. Senses need engagement. We cannot avoid it. But we should ensure that how we engage the senses in such that, and not only the senses engage in sense engagement, but here the most important thing is with the consciousness thinking about Krishna. Our group is not International Society for Behavioral Management. We are not here to teach you how to behave, how to use your legs and hands like that. Here, Prabhupada came here to teach us how to use our legs and hands, eyes and ears in Krishna consciousness versus International Society for Krishna Consciousness, not just International Society for Sense Improvement. It is not that for purpose. Use your hands and legs, but don't think about Krishna. What is the use? Whatever senses we do, we must engage in thinking about Krishna. That is why this Krishna consciousness. When we chant, we meditate on the holy name. When we hear, we are hearing, we can be physically present here, but our subtle body may be somewhere else. That is not Krishna consciousness. Okay. All of you, the class is boring, maybe our subtle body will be somewhere else. But actually, like, when hearing Krishna Katha means like our senses are engaged in Krishna. So that way the senses get controlled, not because of us. Our senses get controlled because the senses are Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam, Bhakti Ruchate. Narada is defining Bhakti as engaging the senses in service of Krishna. That is Bhakti. Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam. We must engage. We are not just here to sit in one corner and close our eyes and do some meditation. No, we should use all our senses in Krishna service. Of course, the ultimate is we should be able to sit at one place and chant with full focus. That is possible, well and good. If that is not possible, then we have to come to that level by engaging the senses in Krishna service. This is what it says. So here Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight. Yuddhasava Vegadajura. You have to fight with enthusiasm and as an offering to me. Krishna does not require anybody to fight for him. Krishna can take care of everything himself. He is giving us an opportunity to purify our senses, to glorify him. Krishna is not a politician, okay, who brings like hundreds of people in lorry for a political rally. He is not asking us to do that. He doesn't like the prayers which we offer to Krishna is just not for Krishna's, it's for our own purification. Not just for Krishna becomes happy, like somebody has to clap and then say Krishna, Krishna. Not like that. Krishna is self-satisfied. When we chant the name of Krishna, that he becomes satisfied, that we get purified. So now, why a yogi needs to become Matpara? Krishna talks about Yukta Asita Matpara. So he's asking us, every one of us, to become devotee. So Nishkama Karma was nothing but, in other words, it's also Bhakti Yoga. That is why we find in every purport of Prabhupada talks about Bhakti Yoga, working for Krishna. So we all want to become Matpara, devotee of the Lord. Why the mind has to be engaged in Krishna's service? Earlier we saw, few verses back, we saw how the senses are so strong it can divert the mind away. Now Krishna gives the other way around. If the mind is not engaged in thinking about him, then mind will start thinking about some sense. Like Vishwamitra Muni's mind went hearing Menaka's antics. How? If the mind is not, if the senses are not controlled, it can control the mind. If the mind is not engaged in Krishna's thinking about Krishna, what will happen? The mind will start focusing on one of the sense. The sense will start focusing on sense objects. Then what happens? The process repeats. So mind needs engagement, senses can be controlled not through repression or practice. It should be engaged in its natural service of thinking about the Lord. And that's why Krishna is saying, even a yogi, a very, very advanced yogi, still if his mind is not fully focused on what will happen, mind contemplating on the sense object will lead to attachment. Kama Isha, Krodha Isha. From attachment, by thinking about a sense object, we develop attachment towards it. When that attachment is not fulfilled, what will happen? You become frustrated, you will become angry. Krodha comes. Kama is kind of passion. Passion is not satisfied, it becomes anger. Even if a passion is satisfied, still what happens? It will become lobha. I want more. It won't get satisfied. Kama, if it doesn't get satisfied, it becomes anger. If it gets satisfied or satisfied, you get it temporarily, you don't get it. Because it's all temporary pleasures. Then you become greedy, I want more. Suppose you get more. What will happen? Lobha becomes mada, pride. I got so much. I have so much, you are nothing. I become very prideful. And the other side of pride is what? Enviousness. If somebody starts getting equal to what we get, what will happen? You become envious of that person. It doesn't matter how much I have. Other person should not have more than me. That is the goal. So it becomes matsarya. So mind, whether it gets satisfied or not, senses get satisfied or not, problem is there. So it leads to attachment and anger. Lust leads to anger. Anger leads to delusion. When you become angry, we don't even know what we are doing, thinking. Right? Then this delusion leads to bewilderment of memory. I don't know what I am doing. Then it leads to loss of intelligence, and loss of intelligence leads to we do some abominable things. We lead to fall down. Different acharyas express the same sequence in a different way. So once again, lust can lead to anger. Anger leads to loss of discrimination. What is right, what is wrong? In anger, we cannot discriminate, okay, which is right thing to do, which is wrong. Then when there is discrimination, for loss of discrimination, what happens? There is loss of self-control. Then we lose ourselves. Then we go and try to beat or fight with someone. We lose the sense. Everything started with sense control. Now we have lost the sense control. Then what happens? When we lose the sense control, what happens? We lose the determination for what we started. Why we wanted to have control of the senses. And when there is loss of determination, once again what happens? We go back to where we started. So that is why it is very necessary that we must engage all the senses in Krishna's service. And this will happen progressively. We cannot go 0 to 100 from today to tomorrow. It happens very progressively. And there are some more, like few other verses. I think I ran out of time, so I'm not going to cover. But I started, or like somewhere in the middle, I spoke about where can we find such personalities. Here all principles are given, such personalities, or we talked about Narada Muni, who was a secretary. This is the example. He is our example of Siddha Pragya. Anybody wants to know who is a Siddha Pragya? He's right before us. Whatever described in Bhagavad Gita, you will find in him. It's called founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. To know about what he did, why he is a Siddha Pragya, practically, I request you, all of you, How many of you have actually read, at least started reading, or a book of Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita? How many of you did? You started reading it? Okay. Anyone else here? Yeah, nice. So you read Bhagavad Gita, and if you read Prabhupada's Lilamrita, you will find a person who actually Krishna describes how a person who could live like that. You will find in the life of Srila Prabhupada. He is one example. But to connect, it's easy to connect with a person who follows the principle rather than just follow the principle. If I just keep on giving the law, principle, it's very difficult for us to do. But if you see somebody following that, it's easy to follow that person. It's easy if you serve that person or serve those persons serving that person, it's easy for us to also to go there. So I request you, my humble request is, please read Srila Prabhupada's Leela, his life history, how wonderful he is. And there is also another book called Transcendental Deity. So Prabhupada has his personal assistant who spent few years serving Srila Prabhupada, and he observed how Srila Prabhupada lived his life. I will just take one more minute. Prabhupada, I will start with, he wakes up at 12 o'clock at night. He goes to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. 9:30 or so. He sleeps for 2.5 hours. He wakes up at 12 o'clock at night. And he starts translating books, basically as a dictaphone, in which he records all the books which you see, Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the books written by Srila Prabhupada. He used to record it. He used to chant the sloka, word by word meaning, translation, and give a purport. He will record it. And once the tape is full, he will give it to his disciple. They will type it up and they will print a book, edit it, all these things happen. So from 12 o'clock night to 4:30 in the morning, Srila Prabhupada will be translating his books. So sending books about Krishna. 4:30 to 6:30, Prabhupada will be chanting on his beats. 16 tones, whatever we are doing, he also chants. Then 6:30, 6:45, he washes his hands and brushes his teeth and all those things he does. 6:45 to 7:30, 7:45, he goes for a walking. Some physical exercise is required. So when Prabhupada goes for a walking, some of his disciples will come with him. So they also talk about Krishna Katha on the way. Right? There's no time is either, or they chant. Then 7:45 he comes to the temple. He takes darshan of the deities and he gives a class till 8:30, 8:45, Srimad Bhagavatam class. Then around 8:45 he goes to his quarters, one single room, small rooms, where he accepts his breakfast. He takes his breakfast. Then after taking breakfast, Prabhupada will go. He meets some of his guests if they want to meet him. And then around 9:15, Prabhupada will go. He'll wear his gamcha, small dhoti. And because he's very old, 70 plus years, his body is not fit. So he needs massage. So he takes an oil massage. And he needs sunlight. So he sits on a balcony on the terrace. Okay, and he takes oil massage. One of his disciples does oil massage because his body is pressure and his blood circulation to improve his life. So he takes his massage. Even during that time, Prabhupada will actually, because a lot of his disciples will be writing letters, those days no emails, so letters will be written. So Prabhupada will be giving answers to it, and somebody will write it down and they will type it up, and Prabhupada will sign it and send it. Or if he meets guests, that will also happen during the next 1.5 hours, that he will be taking this. Then he goes, takes bath, comes back, takes his lunch prasadam, that's his pillar and dress and everything, lunch prasadam. Then maybe he takes 15 minutes to half an hour nap. Then he wakes up again around 1 o'clock. And then he starts translating books again till 4:30, 5 o'clock. Then he again chants for another 1.5 hours. And after that, he meets some of his disciples and he talks about meets guests on all those things. Then things goes on till 8:30 in night. Okay. Then 8:30 or 8:45, he takes one glass of milk. Okay. That's it. His dinner is just that. Okay. And then he goes to bed at 9:30. Then once again he gets up at 12 o'clock and the routine continues. This is the plan. And this happens wherever he is. It doesn't matter. Even if he travels to US, there is no jet lag for Prabhupada or UK or Australia. This is the routine he follows wherever he goes. Even if he gets at some place at 6 o'clock in the evening also, he follows the same routine the day he arrives. For us, we take 1 week or 2 weeks to recover, or even 3-4 days. No jet lag. The routine continues day after day after day after day after day. This is what's different. Yeah. And I just gave you a 5 minutes view of Prabhupada's life. But if you read these books, you get a much beautiful idea of what a life of Siddha Prajna is, how blissful his life has been. It's not painful. He has been following laws. So when we try to follow, then we can also reach them. It is through the mercy of a spiritual master or a guru or a pure devotee that we can also reach that point. Otherwise, principle remains principle. Unless we follow a person who actually embodies these principles, it is not possible for us to reach them. Thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada.
Can take one or two questions.
Maybe I had a question for Karma Yoga. So my understanding for Karma Yoga is like we should have a higher goal, which is like happiness for Krishna, and then we should have smaller goals in our life, where like if I do a work, I should have an end goal that this is what my success would be. Do the work, get the success or failure, but then don't attach yourself with the success or failure. Leave it to Krishna that what you get is what Krishna is giving you. Is it correct?
Yes, this is like don't desire to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
We should not attach ourselves to the result.
Because it's not under our control. Even if you attach, it's not, the result is not under our control. The subtle difference between Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means even the process, we are not even attached to the work. We are ready to do any work. Typically, Karma Yoga is like our beginning stage where we try to do our work based on our nature. That's why I say identify our strengths. Initially, we have to identify our strengths and we have to use that strength. But once a Siddha Prajna is not person, he can do any work. He is not attached to the work at all. He will do any work for Krishna. Not only the fruits of the work. A devotee is a person, a pure devotee is the one. He is not even attached to the work. So that is this little subtle difference between Nishkama Karma Yoga and pure Bhakti Yoga. And Nishkama Karma Yoga helps us reach there.
Most of the work we do for survival professionally is vikarma. The occupations that you are involved, the interactions we have. For example, the whole oil and gas. Oil is a dead body of a being. It's true. Today it has found its floors. Whatever we do, and the occupation is all about how these things are getting better. There's pressure to deliver things. Out of fear, I take refuge that please help me today. Every day it continues. But out of fear and anxiety, most of the days pass by. This attachment to Lord Krishna and to detach from the current situation is something that I'm struggling at least to come out of this. Okay, what am I doing? But yes, we're continuing to just for survival and to support. I take this opportunity for so-called Dharma just to wash out whatever sin that will come out. But this, from reading the text to the practical life situation, I see a big contradiction. Somehow I feel it is running. This is a daily battle, but I am not able to come out of this. It is continuing for a long time.
So yes, this is Kali Yuga. Most of our work is like Ugra Dharma. directly we are doing a lot of Ugra karma. And there is side effect for doing such work. There is karmic reaction for it. But what we are not interested is, okay, whatever reactions come, let it come. Bhakti Yoga is about what can I do to please Krishna. Whatever comes, comes. That is Krishna's domain. If I'm doing Guru Karma, because indirectly, directly, whatever it is. Typically, it is said, okay, don't engage in such kind of karmic work. Okay, try to find a work that is suitable for our nature, whatever nature says. In spite of it, there is an indirect connection everywhere that we are engaged in Guru Karma. To tell you very simply, investing in a mutual fund is also a kind of Mughal Dharma. Because mutual fund means you don't know where the money is you are investing is going to. It is going to tobacco industry, it is going to liquor industry, it is going to so many industry. So indirectly, whatever benefits or whatever interest we are gaining from it is also we are partaking of the sins. That is there. So it's better to avoid. Rather you invest directly in a stock which you know is better. But eventually we cannot avoid. Understand? A devotee is not concerned about or like worried about karmic reactions. The devotee is fully concerned about what I can do to please Krishna. That's the goal. Whatever comes, comes. And whatever comes also, Krishna is helping me to get purified. Even the Uttara work I do, Krishna ensures that it gets minimized, so I get residual effects. And if it is required, Krishna will take us out of that Ugra Karma, whatever we are doing. Krishna can do that. If we feel it is Ugra Karma, Krishna will take us out. If he says, okay, because of this, we are not able to progress in bhakti. Krishna can interfere in our life. Krishna will interfere in Bhakta's life. He won't interfere in other people's life. Because the Bhakta is dependent upon Bhagavan. Just like children are dependent on us. So we can, with responsibility, we have responsibility and we feel that obligation that we need to interfere in their life if they are doing something wrong. But I may not be able to do the same thing with the neighbor's children. I can give advice this way, but I cannot directly interfere. Krishna can give advice to others, but it's up to them to follow. But if we are a devotee and we want to please Krishna, Krishna can interfere in life and will interfere in life and can take us out of it. But the goal of a devotee is, let me try to please Krishna. Let's not go directly to the what we do in office. Rather, when you are here in Akshara Yoga, you focus what I can do here to get myself connected with Krishna. When I sit down and chant, let me try to connect with Krishna. At that time, I'm not working anywhere else. It is a personal one-on-one time with Krishna. Let me utilize that time. Then let's go for the indirectly connecting things with Krishna, during how we work at office, how we do things. At least whatever we are doing directly with Krishna, especially the process of chanting or hearing, reading, let's do it with an attention that I want to develop my relationship with Krishna. Whatever we are doing, we should have this intention in the mind. What is the intention for us? I want to revive my relationship with Krishna. And I am ready to accept anything Krishna gives for me. Good or bad. Ugra Karma, like whatever reaction. I am not afraid about it. Something comes, my father is there to protect me. Krishna is there to protect me. That kind of faith is to be there. That's what Bhakti. So devotee is not concerned about. Of course, it is there in the back of mind that insecurity is there. I'm not saying it's not there. But what we go here is, you will find it in Srila Prabhupada's life. He was also a businessman. He was doing pharmaceutical business. From a very successful businessman, he became a pauper. Then he became very successful in spiritual. So that is why we see when we read the life of these great acharyas, then we can see. Then we get to know how to go there.
Thank you. All of you I'll be having a lot of questions, but for the interest of time, stop it here. You can answer in our next sessions. Relishing to hear Prabhu. Who do not know Prabhuji, one of the pillar of our Akshaya Gita course. But Prabhuji's son's schooling, we have to move to our HBL layout temple side. So Prabhuji came from there and enlightened us today. So let's thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji also. Mataji also is here. So I Gopal Prabhu to kindly come and give a token of appreciation to Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari. So our journey, you'll become host again.